So out of this 108, there are still, we don't need to remember this 108. And that is why the 108 is a significant number. When we do a mala and when we do healing or when we do chanting, basically you are energizing that particular point by chanting or by doing certain rituals or by pressing or by needling or by so-called giving any cleansing practice. So that particular or 108 overall marma points or the nadi points are cured, then your flow will be a proper and then you will be in a good shape. Now out of 108, if you don't remember, we don't need to bother about. There are three major nadis, which is very, very important. And that is where Hatha Yoga is talk about more. These three nadis are we call Ida, Pingala and Shushumna. This is where we need to focus more into our yoga practice or meditation or any higher spiritual practices, or even if you develop a tool for healing or therapy, because this is where the normal people can do understand easily. You can communicate and make them understand easily with the scientific explanation, as well as they can do this practice easily without any hesitation. We don't need to find any particular spot on the nadis and to understand, define that integrity or technical part of it. So to understand this slide is very, very important. So you need to understand very carefully. So let's start with this. Out of this three nadis, Ida, Pingala and Sushumna, the one nadi, again you comprise into a one, the master nadi we call Sushumna nadi. So Sushumna nadi you can say is like a prime minister of the country. Ida Pingala is like you can give or understand as a defense ministry or finance ministry. So any country has this important ministries, the health of the country. So if you understand Sushumna Nadi correctly, then the Ida and Pingala function will be easier, and then you will see a relationship very interesting. So Sushumna Nadi is a lot of myth here, also called Kundalini. Now Sushumna Nadi, you need to understand how it forms. So it will residing on a base of the spine. So if you see, Sushumna Nadi is look like a coil of the snake. So if the snake is sitting, you will see a coil like a spiral. So that is how it is stayed in our, actually the area is the perineum area, above anus and below the genitals. And that is where the directly the tailbone area, if you see the spine, that is where the Sushumna Nadi is sitting. Now we all understand that Sushumna Nadi is a dormant form of energy. Is also called Kundalini. You have heard about a word Kundalini yoga or Kundalini meditation, Kundalini awakening. So I will talk about later all this, but right now you understand this is a dormant form of energy. Now also, that's why, as I said, little bit myth here, it's not 100% dormant. It's like that volcano. It is not active doesn't mean it won't erupt. So it will take time or certain year frequently, certain frequency it will erupt. But in this Kundalini, it is active maybe 10-20%. Is like our brain. We don't use, generally they said we use 10 or 15% or maximum 20% of our brain. We don't fully utilize the capacity of our brain. Similarly, there is a nadis. This nadis, Sushumna Nadi, we don't use the full capacity of this energy. So we always use a 5%, 10%. And how we use it? Because Ida and Pingala, these two nadis, is rising from this Kundalini. Now how it will flow? This flow is very interesting to understand this. So keep this. So if it is coming from your base of your spine, and the Ida is going like this, like a snake, and going to your left nostril. Same time, the Pingala also comes from the Kundalini and goes into your right nostril. And then from here, it will intersect and come again and going back to the Kundalini. So it is like going up and going down. So like a two snake is going up and going opposite nostril. And when the intersections happens with these two nadis, Ida and Pingala, that is where a chakra forms. So there are seven intersections, and that's why the seven chakra forms. So this is how it will interact. So when Ida and Pingala connected each other, that's where the each chakra forms. So now you know how the chakra forms. So chakra is, we call a energy centers or powerhouse of energy. So it's like an interchange. So interchange, you go, then you can change the different route, or you go to the bus stop and then you change to the airport or railway station. So these are the major interchange of the body. So we no need to remember the 108 points or 72,000 nadis. Once you understand Ida, Pingala and Sushumna flow properly, then accordingly you can work with the specific chakras in order to heal, in order to therapy if you are doing, or if you want to go to the higher spiritual practices, also you can use and activate that way. So you can use this information on that way. Now, also, let's talk about this two nadis, because this is where it will be a handy to develop a tool or the practice about Ida and Pingala. Now, Ida is the left side of our body. So if you see our body, left and right. So the left side is called a Ida nadis. Left nostrils represent Ida nadis. Right nostril represent Pingala nadis. So left nostril is also we call moon or yin, and right is side is a yang or the sun. So left side is the cooling side, air conditioning side. Right side is more like a heater or heating effect, like a sun. So you will see there is always a balance. Left side is more feminine, right side is more masculine. Left side is, you will see more low metabolism or relaxation and peacefulness. Right side is more aggression. You will see more high metabolism, or you need a enthusiasm in that way. Left side is also directly related with parasympathetic nervous system. Right side is also connected with the sympathetic nervous system. This is where our whole nervous system is connected. So that's why this nadi function is very, very important, because any imbalance happen in this nervous system, we have issues with the physical body or mental or any vital body health issues. Okay. So in that way, you will see that everything you want to define in our body, you can just split. So left side is the Ida and right side is the Pingala. So if you want to gain weight, you need to work on the Ida nadi. You want to lose weight, you want to work with the right side of the body. So all this function, or if you are gaining weight, that means there is an issue with the left hand side. If you are losing weight, you have an issue with the right hand side. That also you can interpret that way. So all these symptoms, it will help you to identify by this function of these nadis. Okay. Also, very interestingly, a lot of people don't know what they are practicing. If you ask someone, including yoga instructor nowadays, what type of yoga you practice? So most of the time they cannot give a quick or to the point or specific answer. But someone say, okay, I practice Hatha yoga. So what exactly the Hatha yoga is? Ha and Tha. Ha means sun, Tha is moon. So basically is the sun and moon yoga. So what does it mean, hatha or sun and moon? It's not about the meaning, it is about the balancing the nadis. So when you practice, if you practice classical authentic hatha yoga, you are actually doing nothing but practicing and balancing a nadis, ida and pingala. That's why you will do one posture in one side, you do other side. You do a, we call a, when you do a forward bend, you do a backward bend. You do a left side bend, you do a right side bend. You do a right twist and you do another twist. So you are nothing but you are doing a balancing yoga. So any form of yoga, if it is not balancing these nadis, it won't help. It is just an exercise. Because nowadays you have a lot of different types of yoga, and if you are keep stimulating a pingala nadis, that makes then you have issues sooner or later. So we need to understand that how we are practicing yoga. So we need to follow the classic hatha yoga, very, very important, because the whole idea about yoga is to balance the nadis. And this nadis is balanced, then you won't have any health issues. So we need to take this information in that way. Now, similarly, I would like to talk about this Sushumna Nadi also, because there is also one myth, and I have encountered a lot of patients, and as I said, this part is very, very uh, promoted nowadays in a form of Kundalini yoga, Kundalini meditation, Kundalini awakening. So, what exactly is happening here? You go and if you observe certain practices, certain classes, certain organization develop a specific program or meditation for Kundalini awakening. Maybe sometimes they give a different name, but the whole purpose and practice is actually stimulating the Sushumna Nadis. Now, what happens? You need to understand a very layman terminology here. So, see, when you are doing certain practices, it's like that snake. If you have a snake in your house and it is sitting down, what you do? You don't go and poke that snake. You don't disturb that snake because you don't know how it will react. So you stay away from that and just maximize and do whatever you can do to protect. Similarly, when you don't understand that how much I'm utilizing my Sushumna Nadis and we are not utilizing the full potential, it's like that unerupted volcano. You need to develop a certain strength. So what happens in those organization or certain practice, people go to just quick steroid solutions to entertain the mind, or they want to attract from whatever experience, whatever meditation or spiritual practices. So they keep doing certain practices that will invoke that Sushumna Nadis by certain mantra, by certain practices. So what happens if it is suddenly rise and your body cannot capable to do that, you will have a very heavy damage. Understand this. If your laptop work with the 240 watts of electricity, now suddenly the 440 watts come into your laptop, what happens? It will blast. The circuits will burn out, and that is a permanent damage you cannot fix. So that's exactly happen when you don't have a proper understanding what you are doing. So a lot of people go with the physical or sensual experience on that way in the name of a practice. So what happens, that power of that Kundalini will rise and it will go directly without stoppage or any observer, that will go and connect and affect your brain, because this is where is your circuit. So then it will give you a permanent damage. So in order to understand, that's why you need to go your chakras. So 7 chakras are nothing but a shock absorber. So it will slowly, slowly, it will tolerate. Okay, you raise the energy of 30%. Oh, 30% the so-called the root chakra is handling, or it will, even if it will pierce the root chakra, go, okay, sacral chakra is there. So it will handle. So you will have experience. Okay, good. So now next week I will practice more. So slowly, you gradually you go and raise your strengthening that Kundalini power. That makes more sense, and organically you grow without any specific, suddenly it's like becoming overnight millionaire. So you have to be aware. There is no shortcut in spirituality. In fact, you need tremendous patience, and don't go with the benefits of that, because these are the, we are working with the invisible energies, invisible nadis. So you have to be very careful what you are doing. So this is where I give a very strict discipline to the student, that don't be, because once you are practicing with this nadis and chakras and work with the kundalini, you will have a certain experience, will be a very fascinating, and you will love it and you will carry it away. So be just aware and go with the flow, and just focus on the practice. And not only your physical practice, your meditation is required, your understanding is required before you go and jump into that. So be just careful on that. And similarly, once you practice, you can apply that to your patients also, or the student also, so that they don't get any adverse effect of the sudden rise of the energy, because too much of rise of energy also not good. If you give $1 million to the children or the teenage person, they don't know how to manage it. It's the same thing. So not always the good energy is good. If you don't know how to manage, it will can become a curse, and it will damage your body and mind also. So you have to be very careful how we deal with this. So this is all about the three major nadis. So this three major nadis is very, very important to develop a technique, ida, pingala and sushumna. So now you have a better understanding about this ida, pingala and sushumna. So you will can develop a different types of pranayama, different types of practices, pranic energization or activation technique using a certain movements. And that's how you can develop a therapy programs or the certain classes, subtle classes for your students.